7 p.m. For the roll call, I just want to welcome everyone, let you know that when we're functioning normally, we would meet in person at City Hall, but because of the health crisis, we're meeting virtually on Zoom until I think it's the middle of June. This meeting has been posted according to the Open Meetings Act and is open to the public, but it is a formal meeting of the Oak Park City Council. So it means we're going to be following all protocols and maintaining decorum. So everyone, aside from members of City Council, administration, and guests on the agenda, please keep your camera and audio turned off until the call to the audience section. During that time, if you wish to address City Council, you may do so. If you're using Zoom, when it comes to the end of the meeting, you'll write your name on the chat feature and you will be called upon to speak. If you're joining by phone at the end of the meeting during call to the audience, you can unmute yourself, give your name to the clerk, and wait to be called on. We do have a limit of 3 minutes. If you have a question that requires a response, City Council may direct you to an administrative staff member for follow-up. Thank you for your cooperation. This goes to, we are now on the roll call. City Clerk Ed Norris, would you call the roll?
Good evening, Mayor McClellan. I will be taking Ed's place tonight. I'm Lisa Vecchio, the Deputy City Clerk.
Welcome.
And we'll proceed with the roll call. Mayor McClellan.
Marion McClellan. I'm in the City of Oak Park, Oakland County, Michigan.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Carolyn Burns, Oakland County, City of Oak Park, present.
Councilmember Radner.
Solomon Radner, Oak Park.
Councilmember Edgar.
Julie Edgar in Oak Park in the County of Oakland.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Sean Whitehead, present, Oakland County, Michigan, Oak Park.
We have everyone in attendance. I could use a motion. Please add to your agenda item 11C under bids. It is an item to award the bid for the 2020 Yard Services Program, 11C.
(2020 or 2021?
Let me look at that and get this correct. (2021). Let's see. Wait a minute. 2020 program year yard services request for proposals and qualifications, M724. 2020. Got it. And we'll get that explained when we get there.
Thank you.
Okay. Please, I would like a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Edgar, second by Mayor Pro Tem Burns. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Consent agenda. These are routine items that we present without discussion, but if you would like one of them discussed, a member of council can ask to have it considered separately. A, regular city council meeting minutes of May 3rd, 2021. Special council meeting minutes of April 26th and April 27th. Payment application number 2 for the 2020 decorative fence project, M695, phase 2, to American Fence Company of Warren, Michigan, for the amount of $86,042.85. Payment application number 1 for the 2021 swimming pool repair project M719 to Advanced Pool Services Incorporated of Milford, Michigan, for the amount of $66,425. And finally, licenses, new and renewals submitted for May 19th, 2021. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
may we discuss separately C on the consent agenda?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, so this will be A, B, D, and E. And while you're at it, are you making the motion then to approve without item C?
Yes, Mayor.
Councilmember Whitehead, is there a second, please?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Councilmember Radner. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, now let's consider 4C, payment application number 2 for the 2020 decorative fence project M2695 Phase 2 to American Fence Company of Warren, Michigan, for the amount of $86,042.85. Councilmember Whitehead, first, I guess we need a motion to approve, and then we can discuss. A motion to approve item C?
So moved. I'll second it.
Good. So let me start with Councilmember Whitehead because he had the question. I hope you've all seen this fence. If this is the one we're talking about, the 9-mile fence and the one that goes around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't miss the old broken down fences with the weeds growing in them. This is just a delight. Councilmember Whitehead, what would you like discussed on this one?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And the fences do look great. I've been bragging about them every time I've got somebody to show it to. I just have a question. Are we paying American Fencing Company every other 2 weeks or every month or every quarter? How is that working out with them as far as just the payment arrangement?
Let's see. City Manager Tunkey, can you speak to the payment?
I'm going to defer to Assistant City Manager Gee on that as he's managing the project.
Okay.
Yes, I don't think there's been a consistent pay process, or I shouldn't say process, but the way we normally do payments is we do progress payments. So we look and see how much they've completed, and then we'll put their, if they've completed a significant amount, we'll put it on the agenda. Generally, we try to do it every 2 weeks so that contractors regularly get paid if they're doing a project like this. And, that's how we would normally do it. In this case, obviously, we're paying a significant portion right now. And you can see that the payment is $86,000 on a total contract of $117,000. So normally we would make payments about every 2 weeks.
Councilmember Whitehead, any further questions?
No, thank you.
Any questions from other members of council?
I don't have a question. I just have a comment. Since the contract is a little over 100,000 and we're paying about 86,042, does that? I'm assuming that means that the project is more than 60 or 70% complete.
The project is about complete, really, other than some retainage. There may be some remaining amount on this contract, just based on when the timing was of the cutoff. But the project is basically done. This portion of the project is basically done. The fence is all the way completed for the entire limits of this project.
Thank you.
I don't think any of us realized what a difference it makes in that area, in that 9-mile area, to have that clean fence with no weed trees growing in it. It just classes up the area.
For sure. And I might note, I hope the city manager doesn't mind to give this away, but in the next council agenda, I'm going to request to go out for bid for the fence on Greenfield. So if city council wishes to use fund balance to do that, we're going to look to do that, and we'll go over that on the next council agenda.
That's the other area in Oak Park where resident fences, all different, are facing, a major highway, Greenfield. And it doesn't welcome you to Oak Park. But we'll discuss that at the next meeting and see how that goes. So all those in favor of payment application number 2 for the fence, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Is there an elected official here who would like to speak?
Yes, Mayor McClellan, Commissioner Cavell is on the line, I believe.
Wonderful, wonderful. Commissioner Cavell, welcome. You're here to give us an update from Oakland County Commission.
Yeah, hi everybody. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Hello. I'll be brief. I just wanted to give a quick COVID update and then also talk about a couple of things the county's working on. So as relates to COVID, where we've been and where we are, we're kind of coming out the end of it here. I hope we're all starting to feel it. Things are opening up, guidelines are changing. There's a playbook available if anyone has questions, or you can call me if you have any questions about what you're able to do, what mask guidelines should be or ought to be or are. But just to give you a couple of numbers, now that 55% of Michigan residents 16 and up have been vaccinated at least 1 dose, what the state has done has started to open things up. Every 2 weeks, things will start to gradually change, both socially and economically, as long as we keep the cadence of vaccinating about 400,000 people in Michigan every 2 weeks. So by May 24th, so next Monday, we should open up a little bit more and have 60% of Michigan residents vaccinated. And in 4 more weeks, we should hopefully be at that magic number of 70% of Michigan residents vaccinated. And to that end, if you haven't gotten your COVID vaccination and you have questions or concerns or just want to learn more about how to get it, please call me, 248-807-4347. Email me. I'd be more than happy to talk with you myself or connect you with one of the public health department nurses or people that are the leadership or a doctor at the public health department for the county so that we can talk about whatever it is that you might have as a concern related to the vaccine or a worry or any side effects or anything else about how to get the vaccine or why it's a good thing to do. So that's the COVID.
Commissioner, one question. What age are we vaccinating now?
Yeah, great question there, Mayor. So we are vaccinating 12-year-old and up. So if you are 12 to 17, you need to have a parent's signature or a guardian come to help escort you to the vaccination, but 12 and up can be vaccinated now. And we're getting close to seeing, I believe it's 5 and up. Those information should be coming soon. So the things about the county, kind of interrelated to COVID. Last week, Oakland County government got its first check of the ARP, the American Rescue Plan. So we're getting $244 million. And the first check of about $122 million showed up. So we're starting to lobby and jockey and advocate for things. To that end, I'll be talking with City Manager Tungate later this week to kind of put pen to paper to make sure we got all the good things that we're thinking about and focusing on. And the second thing that is also interrelated to county government and COVID is the week of June 7th, Oak Park through OakGov will be eligible for a mobile pop-up clinic for vaccination. So I'd be more than happy to take input or advice or counsel from any of you on the council or the mayor or anyone else listening as to where you think that should go. Because what we're seeing now is that tipping point where we've gone from people chasing the vaccine to the vaccine chasing people. So it'll become less efficient, but it'll still be just as important. So those are the kind of the big updates.
Where are these mobile pop-up clinics going generally?
Well, they're going into communities that could have higher dose saturation. So Oak Park, Hazel Park, Madison Heights, several parts of northern Oakland County where there isn't a high uptake in people getting vaccinated. So speaking specifically to Oak Park, that's what I'm saying is you tell us. We want to make sure we're meeting the community need where it is. So if you all know of a better place to do it than, say, City Hall, we want to make sure it goes somewhere where people will trust it and people will have easy access to it. And if you tell me or tell the county executive's office, we'll be sure to make sure it shows up there the week of June 7th.
Great news.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming, and we love the good news. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Director Davis, are there other officials wishing to speak?
Mayor McClellan, I don't see any at this time.
All right, thank you. We don't have a presentation or a public hearing. We do have item 8A, a letter from Brian Rolston requesting a lease extension on the Oak Park Ice Arena. City Manager Tungate, would you discuss this letter?
Madam Mayor, thank you. I'm going to defer to Assistant City Manager Yee yet again because he's been having some discussions on the ice arena, so I'd like him to set it up.
Thank you, City Manager Tungate. Yes, as we had spoke at budget sessions, the Brian Rolston of Rolston Hockey Academy has expressed interest and has written that they would like to extend their lease. They want to do more improvements on the rink. They've done several improvements already, replacing all the boards and lights and adding insulation and things like that to the rink. They want to do more improvements, and in order to do that, they also need or we're requesting a lease extension to make that worthwhile for their investment. I see that Brian Rolston is on the call here, so I guess I would ask that any further questions be directed to him directly, as he can probably, answer them. I am just representing his requests and, putting it up for consideration of City Council.
Maybe Mr. Rolston would like to speak directly.
Hello, City Council. Thank you for having me. And I took over the lease a few years back, and we've made some improvement to the ice arena. We have 2 years left on our lease right now, and we're looking to extend it for 3 years at least. With maybe a possibility that we could even have an option after the 3 years. We put a lot into it. We do, we employ people. I have a hockey academy here during the day. We have students here that do online curriculums, and something that we've built up over time, and we want to make more improvements to the inside of the rink. And Kevin hit it on the head that if we could extend it at least 3 years, we could make those improvements.
Right. As far as I know, I'm not speaking for the whole council, we are doing a recreation study. We're just sort of putting it out there. A study of all the recreation assets in the city of Oak Park and recommendations of what to do to them. So if you could be patient for a while until we get this study, we will probably answer you better at the lease extension. But that's one opinion. Does anyone have a question for Mr. Rolston?
I don't have a question, but Mayor, I am in agreement with you. We should wait until after our recreation study is completed before we make any additional commitments for an extension.
All right, okay.
Madam Mayor, I also agree. But I wanted to ask, in your letter, you refer to some improvements that you've made. What has your investment been, your monetary investment in the arena?
$500,000.
And how much would you invest were we to give you that 3-year extension?
Probably the same amount.
So I have another question. So are you looking for an additional 3 years? Because you mentioned that the lease is up in 2 years, or are you just looking for one more year to add on to the existing 2 years?
No, that's correct. I would like to have an additional 3 years onto the 2.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question, Madam Mayor.
Yes, Councilmember Redner. Hockey player.
I enjoyed the Oak Park Arts Arena quite a bit and I appreciate firsthand the amazing updates that you did, Mr. Rolston. So thank you for that. My question to you is, what other updates do you plan on doing?
Well, I'm going to add locker rooms on where the locker rooms now on the opposite side of the rink. We would put locker rooms with stands above it.
With obviously with showers.
Oh yeah, they're going to be custom locker rooms.
Awesome. Those are going to be for I presume you're going to have more teams coming in, and
that's
each
correct.
team is going to want their own dedicated locker room. Okay, that's awesome. I love what you've done with the arena. It's absolutely amazing. It was sitting dormant basically for far too long, and you've made Oak Park a hockey hub again. So I look forward to seeing what the final details are, and I think this is definitely a relationship that I'd like to see blossom.
Well, thank you. And Mayor, is there any kind of timeline on that?
I don't have an exact timeline. We can get to you with it, but they're looking at all community assets and making recommendations. And so your letter came just 2 weeks after we decided to do that for sure and to put out the bids and that kind of thing. So,
Madam Mayor, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I ask another question, please?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Olson, are you on any sort of time constraints that you have teams that are looking forward to having a contract, but only if you get this contract approved?
Well, it is time sensitive, obviously. I wanted to do this work over the summer. So it is a little bit time sensitive, but if you guys are doing a recreation plan, I understand that. And, I'm willing to be patient.
Well, I want to be a good partner to you, just like you've been a good partner to us. But obviously, it has to make sense to us as well as to you. And that's why I just wanted to know if there's, for example, is there a certain time by which if we don't have an answer for you, you will have lost out on some big contract?
No, not necessarily.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your candor. I appreciate it. Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I apologize again for the interruption.
Thank you. I'm glad that you can be a little flexible. Yeah, you've been a wonderful partner.
Thank you, Mayor.
The city. We appreciate what you've done for this ice rink, and loved when you opened it up to the public.
For the Winter Festival.
Yep. And
we'd like to do a lot more of those things for the community if we keep moving forward here.
I would love to see that. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Zooming with us tonight, and we'll keep you abreast of whatever's happening with this study.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Browston.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay. I think we file the letter and move on to accounting reports. Number 10. We need a motion for approval for payments of invoices submitted by attorneys. Aaron Luke Miller, PC, for legal services in the total amount of $13,028.48. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved.
Was that Radner?
I think Julie made the motion and then Radner seconded.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Any discussion? Roll call from our clerk, Vecchio.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Okay.
The motion carried unanimously. Moving down to bids. A, this is a request to award the bid for the 2021 water main replacement project, M718, to Paymar Enterprises of New Haven, Michigan, for the total amount of $1,139,591. Their motion to award the bid.
So moved.
Thank you. That's Radner. And is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. is this water main replacement? That would be Assistant City Manager Yee, I'm betting.
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
Did you explain?
Can you just discuss what this, what are we replacing and
Yes, absolutely. So we are looking at replacing the water main on Oak Park Boulevard in the center of the boulevard from Coolidge all the way to Scotia. If you know, in case anyone hasn't noticed, we did have to remove some trees in that area on the boulevard section. We are going to replace those and more trees as part of the project. And you know, we do have, although this is over our projected budget, which we budgeted $1 million. You know, if anyone is not aware of what's going on, replace them. Generally, when we replace them, we actually upsize them a little bit just to deliver more water and more firefighting capabilities to the community. So this is a water main where we've had several breaks in this water line on Oak Park Boulevard, and it's just a line that we need to replace. You know, as you know, we've gone through and probably beat that horse plenty of times, but our infrastructure is, you know, aged and we need to constantly update and replace these types of things. So, you know, we try to do it in the most cost-effective way possible, and I think this is, well, we know that this is a project that's definitely a high priority for us based on the amount of water main breaks we get in it.
right?
I have a question.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Have we worked with Paymar Enterprises of New Haven before? And I'm pretty sure we've done our due diligence and checking them out and their references of things of that nature.
Yes, we have not worked with them in the past, or at least, you know, in my tenure, I have not recall working with them at all, but we have thoroughly checked references and we did have positive responses from their references. So, you know, we did clarify some things in writing to them based on where their bid was at, and we feel comfortable that, you know, they are the contractor that will do a good job on this project at the lowest possible price to the city.
Okay. So we also did the background check, and I forget the words escape me at the moment. The Better Business Bureau. We did do a check with them as well.
We did a pretty thorough reference check, and to be honest, I'm not sure if that included the Better Business Bureau review. But generally, when we do a check, we do, you know, we check several references and contact a lot of people that have done work with them, and I'm comfortable that they're, you know, capable. I know they're capable of doing the work, but I'm comfortable that they'll do it at the best price and the best job for the city.
Okay. And I know at a previous meeting, we said that of all of the infrastructure we have replaced or lined, 10% so far.
We have a long way to go, yes.
And we have a long way to go.
Mayor, I have a quick question for Assistant City Manager.
Councilmember Edgar, yes.
So I noticed that they lined a few of the sewers in my neighborhood. I just want to ask you just a technical question. So they put what looked like, you know, heavy duty garbage bags. I mean, that's what it looks like to my eye. Does it seal itself? I mean, what happens with the liners? Do they just sort of, do the margins stay out, you know, outside of the grate?
So this is a completely separate project. I just want to clarify, this is a water main replacement project. What you're referring to is a sewer lining project.
Yeah, that's what I am, right.
Yeah, sewer lining project, they put it's a resin impregnated, basically, bag, as you're describing, into the sewer. They cook it, which bakes it and makes it a structural pipe. And it basically forms a pipe within the pipe, and it's its own structural pipe, and like basically a standalone structural pipe.
So cool. How do they bake it?
It's hot water. So they use hot water and they use steam also. There's two different techniques for different resin, but they can use steam or they boil water, and they have to cook it for a certain amount of time in order to be, for it to become, baked and become a structural pipe.
Interesting. Thank you. Been curious about that all week.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, we're ready to vote. Clerk Vecchio.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Puts us under item 11B, request to award the bid for the 2021 streetscape amenities to Anova Furnishings Incorporated for the total amount of $72,690. Is there a motion to award the bid?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Radner, and seconded by Edgar. This might be Assistant City Manager Yee again. Would you describe what the streetscape amenities consist of?
Madam Mayor, I'm going to actually ask Director Kimberly Maroney to take this one.
Yes, thank you, City Manager Tungay. So the streetscape amenities, portions of them are going to go for our 11-mile corridor, and the rest are going to go and complete the linear park that will be going in on a 9-mile road on the south side. It consists of the same types of benches, and we did order the same trash receptacles. However, we did change them slightly so that they are recycling ones. So we'll have both recycling and trash in those. And we'll also have some bike racks. There'll be 20 of the contour benches. We have 2 flat benches, 18 trash receptacles, and 15 bike loops.
A bike what?
Bike loops, the bike racks.
Okay. And are there any planters or anything on that, or is that a different?
Not in this bid, that would be a different bid.
Okay, this is getting exciting. It's like moving into a new house. Or
buying the furniture.
Yes, buying the furniture, Lord. We have a motion and a second, correct? Are there questions about the streetscape amenities?
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to ask Director Maroney about this. So it looks like we bought or we accepted a bid from the manufacturer, correct?
Yes, that's accurate.
Okay. So it's odd that the other bidders bid way higher than the actual manufacturer. I mean, it seems sort of crazy, but and I think their work is obviously very nice. I mean, we have some things by them already. It's just too bad that we can't award a bid to a Michigan company. I'd much rather see us support, local companies, but it's pretty outrageous how much they marked them up. I mean, just like what? But yeah, I mean, I see why we did what we did, but it is too bad that we can't award a bid to a local company.
Mm-hmm. So. Point well taken. Any other comments, questions? We are ready to vote then. Clerk Vecchio, thank you.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed unanimously. Brings us to the one we added, 11C, which is the awarding the bid for Yard Services Program 2020. First a motion and then an explanation of the year. We have a motion for awarding this bid.
So moved.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Councilmember Whitehead. Mayor Pro Tem, you had the question about the year.
Yes. Yes, why is it 2020 instead of 2021?
And I think that's Director Barrett, correct?
Correct.
Good evening, Eric, Mayor and Council. Yes, it's a unique terminology, but we're dealing with HUD and CDBG funds, and program year 2020 isn't passed by Congress until like November or so, and then it takes forever to get these funds allocated. So this is funds that were allocated in 2020 by HUD and by the county for CDBG funds, and we actually didn't get our letter of obligation for the program year 2020 until I think it was late winter, early May, maybe around March or so. We got the letter of obligation from the county that we're allowed, we received these funds and were awarded these funds. So it's a bureaucracy at its finest.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for the explanation. I get a lot and then forget because it doesn't seem to match. Are there questions about the choice of the yard services? Well, first, can you explain a little bit about the contract?
Yes, Mayor. This is a contract that we provide services through CDBG funds to service senior citizens in Oak Park, to assist them with snow removal and lawn mowing services for those that can't afford to take care of it themselves. With this amount of money, we typically average, somewhere in the 80 residents we can serve. I think right now we have 83 on the list that we're serving. And this gets them out at least every couple of weeks to cut their grass. And then as snow events happen, they take care of it also. And it's unique with lawn clippers is they were the low bidder for many years on our project. They've been working for us as far as I can remember when OSHA was hiring them. And they are geared up pretty much on most snow events to get out there and perform the 84 snow removals in a matter of a couple of days. So we don't get too far behind with this.
So they're competent and budget conscious.
Very so much so. I think we are really lucky. I remember years ago bid tabs where, and somebody else comes in, they're not very efficient as lawn clippers are, and we're getting cost double this and serving half the residents then. But luckily, lawn clippers always been the lowest bidder, and it's a man and his the husband and wife do all the work, all the cuttings and all the billing and everything, and they're awesome. They do a great job.
Isn't that nice? Well, there is a local company for you. Thank you. Are there any questions for Director Barrett? If not, Director Vecchio, Clerk, was there a question? A roll call.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes, unanimous. Thank you. That puts us down to number 12A, first reading of an ordinance to repeal and replace zoning of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oak Park, Michigan. First, a motion to accept this first reading.
So moved.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Burns. Second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Radner. City Manager, who would you like to? This sounds like a
Kimberly Maroney.
Question.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mayor. This is to repeal and replace all of our zoning ordinances for the City of Oak Park. We have been working with a consulting firm for the last 2 years now to rewrite all of the zoning ordinances so that they're more in line with today's standards. So we've been working very hard on this, and at the May 10th Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission approved and recommends to City Council to approve doing this.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I think in 2011, and I went to U1 Now What, they were recommending updating your zoning, and you've done it. Rather, you've done it, and we get to take credit. Thank you. Let's see, we have the motion and we have a second. Questions about this ordinance? What's included, maybe? Can you tell us what is included? It's all the changes that we've made so far?
Sorry. It is the entire new zoning ordinance. The biggest changes that you're going to see in there are one item or a few of the items that we typically would do a special land use on, which requires us to send notification within 300 feet. 9 times out of 10, nobody would attend those meetings. As long as they meet the requirements in a conditional land use, that's a new term that we're introducing. And that requires them to still meet the qualifications, but it doesn't require us to do a public hearing in order to approve it. That is probably the biggest change that you're going to see in there. A lot of definition changes to bring them up to date. We're also adding in architectural standards. That way it'll help us to get better developments as they come into the community and hold them accountable to do better building standards when they're doing their development. And those are really the main changes that you're going to see.
Sounds amazing. Any questions about details? Okay, we're ready to vote. Clerk Vecchia.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Motion carried. Now that we've got all of them changed, we're going to add 2 more changes. 12B is a first reading of an ordinance to amend Article 2, Division 1, Section 201, and the official zoning map contained therein being part of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oak Park, Michigan, by changing the use district of certain parcels of land currently zoned B1, neighborhood business, and B2, general business, to MX2, mixed use 2 district. First, we need a motion to approve the first reading.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Councilmember Radner. And back to Director Maroney, would you explain these new districts?
Yeah, I'm going to try and share my screen too, so it makes a little more sense as I'm doing it. Lisa, if you could give me authority to do that. So this is the area at the 9 and Coolidge intersection. If you remember back in 2014, City Council approved the Economic Development Strategic Plan, which showed that area as the city center for the City of Oak Park. Also in our last master plan that was adopted last fall by City Council and at recommendation of our consultants, we decided to rezone the parcels at 9 and Coolidge area to be mixed use 2. So that will allow us to do mixed use developments, which include housing on the upper levels and then still the retail and service industries on the lower levels. And hopefully over time, we'll be able to create more of a downtown feel, make it more walkable and bikeable in that area.
Nice.
Lisa, I still don't
Yes, you
have
do.
authority.
Director Davis, I just gave you co-host permission.
Still not letting me.
Try again, one more time.
Technical difficulties, please stand by.
Okay, now I got it. So let me just scroll down to the right area of the map. And you'll see in the center here where it's this bright pink, those were zoned either B1, which is our neighborhood business, or B2, our general business district. And we are proposing zoning those to become mixed use too, which are similar to our mixed use district on 11 Mile.
Bless you.
Are there questions from council members about?
Mayor, I just have a quick question about this. So why now? I mean, what was the impetus for rezoning this area to mixed use?
Like I said, back in 2014 in our economic development strategic plan, it was identified to try and create a city center area. So that was the first impetus. And then over our master planning process in the fall, it was also identified to do that, to follow our strategic economic development plan. And then with our new zoning ordinances, we had to create a new district within the new zoning ordinance. So that's why we're bringing these both at the same time. We held off on creating this new district when we did the master plan until we actually had the zoning ordinances written to actually have in place to allow for it.
So now that area, a developer might want to do, say, you know, a 3-story building with residential at the top and commercial at the bottom, something like that. I mean, is that what we're envisioning?
This will allow them to do that.
Do we have anybody interested in doing that?
Well, not at this time. The first step with any development to attract it is you have to have it zoned properly in order to attract that development. So this is the first step in trying to attract investors to do something like this.
Thank you.
Then the economic development director goes shopping for developers to make the vision a reality. Mayor Pro Tem, did you have a question?
No.
Okay. Any further questions? Okay. Clerk Vecchio, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Motion carried. It's a new day in Oak Park. Item C, first reading of an ordinance to amend Article 2, Division 1, Section 201, and the official zoning map contained therein, being part of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oak Park, Michigan, by changing the use district of certain parcels of land currently zoned LI, light industrial, to IF, industrial flex district. Please, we need a motion to approve the first reading.
So moved.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Councilmember Edgar. Is there discussion of the light? Well, first, I wonder if Director Maroney would show us where on the map we're adding this light industrial.
Yep, let me share. Oh. Jocelyn, can you give me authority to do that again, please? Thank you. So on the map here, you'll see this bright blue area, which is essentially the north side of Capitol. And as you can see, it backs up all to single-family residential neighborhoods. The idea of an industrial flex was proposed actually by our consulting firm, and also something that we've discussed over time with the Planning Commission and City Council members to create more of a flexible zoning area that backs up to our residential and would also help to attract some live-work type businesses as well as maker spaces, artists, that type of tenant is what we're looking for in that area. So that'll allow us to allow for some additional uses along the north side of Capitol. I would like to, if I could, Madam Mayor, we received an email after the Planning Commission meeting, and I told the gentleman that I would read it into record tonight for City Council. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
It says, Dear Ms. Maroney, I am against the proposed rezoning amendments regarding the north side of Capitol. A, it is not needed. B, the plan is drawn to what scale and where is the true north heading? C, the rendering is faulty. D, who will benefit? I am a Capitol property owner since 1996 and I will not benefit. E, how much money has the city already spent on this project? Looking forward to answers. Milt DeZoden. I have spoken with him and I did tell him about the meeting tonight. I'm not sure if he's here, but he can speak later at public comment, but I did promise I would read that into record if allowed.
Thank you very much. We encourage questions and comments from our residents. We all do better when we're working together. Any questions from council members about light industrial?
I have a question.
Changing the regular industrial to light industrial flex.
I have a question.
Please, yes.
Ms. Baroni, is there anything substantively, and obviously when there's a property owner or a long-time business owner or property owner that's voicing a strong objection, I'd like to know substantively the basis for those objections. Can I just ask, why is Milt saying that this is going to in some way harm him or not benefit him? Did he explain that at all? Because just ABCD doesn't really tell us much. Did he tell you a little bit more detail? Do you have any idea?
He did. I'd rather him explain it. I don't know if he's here. Essentially, he mentioned that he doesn't, I think I better not misquote him, so I better not just say it.
Yeah.
I don't want to put words in his mouth.
This isn't going to cost anything, is that correct? Because it's with just a zoning change.
Correct.
So this is a zoning change allowing these new things to go. Not insisting that they go, but making it possible for them to be used for these kinds of things.
Yes.
And it should just help existing businesses to make this a livelier section. I'm not sure of disadvantages.
Madam Mayor, may I ask a question?
Please, this is Councilmember Whitehead.
Thank you. Do we know what industry that resident or that business owner, Mr. Milt, was in? And is from my just guessing, is this an area where there's like a lot of mechanic companies at and auto repair companies at on Capitol there?
So they're mostly like shop related type businesses. There is a heat treat on the north side with Eaton Steel. There's one body shop, but most of them are just more of your typical industrial type uses. Nothing that, other than the heat treat plant, is about the only really heavy use in that area. And then there's also some single family residential in that area too. Yeah, that particular person does, I believe he just rents his building out.
I'd really like to hear what his actual objections are. I mean, substantively, I didn't hear anything, but I'd like to know what they are.
I just, we don't have,
No, I know, it's not Ms. Baroni's fault.
Yeah,
It's
at this
just, if
point.
that letter would have been more detailed, obviously it would be a little bit more helpful. And of course, if he is here, he'll speak during the call to the audience, but I'm legitimately curious what his substantive objections are, other than I don't agree, this is not going to help me. This is going to hurt me. How?
Right.
He didn't have any really, I'll be honest, he didn't have like a specific answer as to why. He just didn't like it, I guess.
Okay.
And Councilmember Redner, this is only the first reading. So
Right,
when,
no, I know.
no, when he speaks during audience participation or when you talk to him in between, you can get further detail.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
Anything further? Are we ready to vote?
Let's
Roll,
vote.
please.
I'm sorry, you ready for the roll call?
Yes. Mhm.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Passed unanimously. Thank you. City attorney, I don't see anything under city attorney. That brings us to city manager, Eric Tungate.
And members of council, 14A is pretty straightforward, council members. This is just the extension of our current local emergency declaration. The primary purpose of this is to ensure that we can continue to have remote meetings through June 30th, as opposed to right now, where if we don't do this, we would only be able to do that through May 31st.
So Michigan being very high compared to other states, and our area high also. I would rather err on the side of caution and continue. So we need a motion to extend the emergency declaration resolution for remote meetings until June 30th. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Whitehead. Discussion?
Madam Mayor, I do have a question for City Manager Tungate. Where do we rank in terms of cities that have reopened? Are we among the last cities to reopen City Hall? What's going on out there?
You know, I've been putting feelers out there throughout the last, year plus now. And what I'm finding is it really does vary. I think in our immediate area, we're probably more in line with what other communities are doing around us. I think if you go into a lot of the exurban communities, some of them never closed to the public. But I think, I think I'd mentioned this to folks, prior to the meeting beginning tonight, but I'll say it again. The date of reopening city facilities to the public that I'm targeting, at least as of right now, is June 14th. As you know, the mask mandate has been lifted for indoor and outdoor, and that's for people who are vaccinated. We've made some amazing strides, and I think so. June 14th is the date of reopen. One other thing I wanted to mention, though, is that approving this resolution will allow us to continue to meet remotely through June 30, as I mentioned, but we do not yet know if the legislature is going to approve an amendment that would allow us thereafter to conduct our meetings in a hybrid fashion where, we could have people in person and tuning in remote and even participating in the meetings remotely. We do now have that capacity. And of course, we're waiting to see what happens in the legislature and prior to June 30 to see what we can do.
Thank you. Any further questions about this emergency declaration being extended? Clerk Vecchio, does this need to be a roll call or can this be just a voice vote?
We can do a roll call on this one.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously. It looks like Communications, event and activity update.
Madam Mayor, we do have 14B still.
I see it. Yep, thank you. Receive and approve exception recommendations regarding the special assessment districts. When you object to something, our staff very carefully studies it, gets back to you with whether they're going to take it off as a bill or put it back on with 10% charges. So that's what this is. This was after careful examination of each of the objections. So we need a motion to receive and approve.
So moved.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Councilmember Edgar. Are there discussion or questions about any of the specifics? Each of these people, Director Barrett, is it true that these, everyone was notified of the results?
That is true, Madam Mayor, and there's supporting documentation to speak to these exceptions in the packet, so that is true.
Yeah. Thank you. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. So we have approved these exception recommendations. Now we're at the community events and activity update.
And I will turn it over to Director Jocelyn Davis for that. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager Tungate, and good evening, members of council, Mayor McClellan, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm going to go a little bit out of order today from the memo that you received to talk about something that happened just today that was just amazing. And council needs to understand that this happened and the community will be excited. Our Oak Park Public Safety has started a relationship with Families Against Narcotics. And there are two programs that Families Against Narcotics, or FAN, actually has brought to Oak Park. The first one was called, the first one is called Hope Not Handcuffs, excuse me. We've had that one for a couple of months now, where anyone from the community who is experiencing any problems with drug misuse, actually the way to say this is actually a substance use disorder, can actually walk voluntarily into the police station, to the public safety station, and say they need help. And what will happen then is someone from FAN, from the Hope Not Handcuffs program, will come and do a, give them some help, give them some assistance finding some recovery program. That we have been doing for a little while, and as of today, we had a press conference in the council chambers earlier today, where Channel 7 actually came and they did a nice story and ran a video for us on Channel 7 to talk about the second program with Families Against Narcotics that Oak Park Public Safety is now a part of, and it's an extension of Hope Not Handcuffs. And it is where our public safety officers, when they are called to a home for an overdose situation, they will leave literature with the family, and then they will come back with a recovery coach, a family coach and a recovery coach from the FAN program to do an intervention with that family and with that person. It's a really great program. One of the things that they've said about it is these programs demonstrate that law enforcement understands that substance abuse or substance use disorder is a mental health issue and not moral failure, which is huge. So City Manager Tungate and Director Steve Cooper did a fantastic job representing the city today. We had the folks here from FAN, and they talked about how excited they are to be working with Oak Park. Oak Park is, I believe, the first municipality in Oakland County to be a part of this program. So we're pioneering here a little bit. FAN began partnering with law enforcement agencies across the state in 2017 to start the Hope Not Handcuffs program. After receiving a grant from Blue Cross Blue Shield, the program has since expanded to include 100 departments across Michigan. And this latest program is now funded through the MDHHS. So we are part of that and very, very proud to be a part of it. So if anyone needs any additional information, please feel free to call the Public Safety Department on the non-emergency number with questions. This program is up and running. City Manager Tungate, did you want Director Cooper to say anything about that?
I would thank you for that, and thank you for mentioning that. I actually would like to take this opportunity to just give kudos to Director Cooper and his team. Director Cooper, kudos to you for pursuing this and being part of this. What a great thing. Very excited about it.
We also, I would mention that we filmed the press conference live. So it was live on YouTube. You can find it on the YouTube channel to see the press conference. It's worth watching to learn more about the programs. And we also showed it live on our cable station, OP15. And it'll be looped on OP15 if anyone would like to see it. It was pretty wonderful. Okay, and back to the memo. We still have our vaccination site going over at the Oak Park Community Center. And most important here is we're finding that our seniors are not hearing about the opportunity to be vaccinated. So we're asking all of our friends and neighbors in Oak Park to reach out to seniors and to anyone and just remind them that they can get their vaccinations there. In speaking with Janae Scott today, who is coordinating this through Henry Ford Health System, she said it is open to anyone. They do not have to be an Oak Park resident. So if someone knows of someone in another municipality who might need to have a vaccination, they can come to our clinic as long as they are ages 12 and up. And if they're between 12 and 17, they need to bring a parent. But anyone is welcome to come from anywhere for a vaccination so that we can get to herd immunity and get back to life. Okay, a few library announcements for us. There is a program called Michigan Activity Pass, or MAP program. A library card holder can print passes for metro parks and coupons for other fun, family-friendly venues by going to MAP 20, actually it's Plymouth. Oh, I'm sorry. What I'll have you do is call the library for more information, and that number is 248-691-7480. The most popular of those is Yankee Air Museum and Sea Life Aquarium. This is a Library Network sponsored event. Juneteenth activities are happening now. They're free through the library. There will be several throughout June. Please look at the library's Facebook page for more details about what's available during our June celebration of Juneteenth. First of all, coming up June 2nd, there's a virtual book club that will be on June 2nd at 6:30 p.m. It's So You Want to Talk About Race is the book. That's by Ijeoma Olu. And you can check that out curbside by calling the library at 248-691-7480. Several recreation announcements. I'll just summarize here. There's a virtual trivia night coming up. There are two. One left in May 27th at 7 p.m. Of course, these are virtual trivia night are done by Zoom, and there are always great prizes involved in this. Once you register, you will receive the Zoom link. On the 27th of May, we'll have Popular Anime at 7 p.m. And on June 3rd, 7 p.m., they're going to have a trivia night on Schitt's Creek, which is a really funny show. Please call the Recreation Department to register. For more information at 248-691-7555. Senior Drive-In Bingo is also taking place on June the 7th. Of course, that is where seniors drive up to the community center parking lot, don't even have to get out of their cars. They can play bingo for prizes. June 7th at 11:30 a.m. for 1 hour. Also, there is a senior picnic lunch plan. This is tentative, just in case the weather's not good. On June 11th at noon. That'll be in Shepherd Park in Shed 1. It does cost $6, but that's for a delicious lunch. And you must register on or before June the 7th. Again, calling Recreation at 248-691-7555. The community pool is about to open. That's very exciting to many. We have some new rules, though, about the pool this year. It'll open on June the 12th and run through August the 21st. But here's the catch about the pool. So that we can maintain safety for everyone, we're actually going to have a reservation only for the pool. So no one should think about just walking up to the pool for the day. You actually have to call and make a reservation because we're watching our numbers about how many people actually come into the pool at one time. Pre-registration will be required for 90-minute time slots. Do know, though, we'll continue to have our special swim times. For instance, we'll have swim lessons. Water aerobics will still happen. We'll still do that. We'll do male-only and female-only swim times still. We'll do a senior-only swim time and teen-only swim times and pool rentals. So all of that is still happening this year. It's just that please watch either the Facebook page for recreation or give a call over to 691-7555. Just a few more things here. More summer outside. We have our tot lot and our summer day camp starting June 14th through August the 6th. This is $120 a week per residence. The tot lot is for ages 5 through 6 and summer day camp for ages 7 through 12. We also have our latchkey program starting for our working families. That's June 14th also through August 6th. And for the full week, Monday through Friday, AM latchkey is 8 to 9 a.m. for $20 a week per resident. And PM latchkey is 4 to 5 p.m., $20 again per week per resident. And this is something new we're doing called Rec on the Road. So our mobile recreation program. This is where our recreation department is going to go into parks across the city and put on programs for youth in our local parks. They'll be organized, fun, and safe. We're talking sports, arts and crafts, games, karate lessons or demonstrations, and more. Supplies will always be included. So please stay tuned to the city website. Look at the Facebook page for the city or recreation so you can keep up with where mobile rec will be. We also have a free garage sale weekend coming up again. We tend to have a lot of these in the spring and summer. This is where the regular fees are waived for a free garage sale weekend, but do keep in mind that our operation and sign regulations will still apply. If you need more information about that, please call 248-691-7450. Here's some surveys that we're interested in getting feedback from people in Oak Park. Oak Park Dog Park Survey. This is going to be available until May 31st. You can find that by going to the website, the homepage of the website, or there'll be a post, there are several posts on Facebook. We want to gain support and input for the development of the city's first dog park ever. This survey is facilitated by the Oak Park Dog Park Committee, which is a subcommittee under the Oak Park's Park and Recreation Commission. So you can get access to the survey by going to the website again, or you can pick up a hard copy of the survey in the rec department, right in the entrance hall, right in the front there. Once you've completed the survey, the hard copy, you can drop it off in our drop box in front of City Hall, or you can scan and email it to recoffice@oakparkmi.gov. We also have one more survey. It's our Oak Park Local Artist Census. We're just trying to gauge what kind of interest people have in the city of Oak Park and where our artists actually are. So our Arts and Cultural Diversity Committee is sponsoring this survey, and it is also on the homepage of the website. And just a reminder, there's been a conversation, but our City Hall continues to be closed through until June 14th. So remember, you can still do business with us. You can go onto the website under any department, look for the phone number, and we are answering phone calls. We are answering emails, so please don't hesitate to contact any of us with your questions. If you have any questions about anything, services, events, whatever it is, we're here for you. And I'm looking forward, City Manager, to the reopening coming up on June the 14th. That's all for my announcements, unless there are questions.
Thank you, Director Davis. And Madam Mayor, members of council, that completes the City Manager report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager Tungate. You and your staff have been extremely busy. We are now at call to the audience. So this is Zoom call to the audience. Once you're called to speak, please state your name and street address for the record. There is a 3-minute time limit. So sketch down what you want to say ahead of time. If you're participating by Zoom and want to speak this evening, type your name in the chat at the bottom of the screen. If you're calling into the meeting on a phone and would like to speak, unmute yourself and add your name to the speakers list. Director Vecchio, has anyone requested to speak?
I am not seeing any hands raised or messages in the chat.
There's a message in the chat.
You have one, Jocelyn? Go ahead.
Okay. So Mayor McClellan, Joseph Stewart, address from Coolidge Square Condominium Association, would like to, he submitted a written summary, he says. Mr. Stewart, can we ask you to unmute yourself and actually address council?
Thank you. Thank you. Is this my time?
Yes, this is your 3 minutes. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I did submit a statement which is very detailed because this is all about numbers. It involves the application of a utility payment ordinance 82-315, which assesses it's the water bill. It assesses a 10% monthly assessment to the water bill when it's not paid, and it's compounded monthly. It's resulted in monies owed of over between 300 and 400% of what the actual billings are. There's an amount, and this is detailed, and I don't think you'll be able to understand what I'm trying to say in 2.5 minutes now. But there's two parts of it. There's $52,000 that are rolling to taxes, and that leaves on that he has actually paid about 80% of it, and the actual amount owed is $15,900, but $57,000 is rolling to taxes with the penalty. That leaves us from August of last year till May of this year to now, where the amounts have increased in 9 months. The arrearages have increased $107,000 on total billings of $25,000, including the 10% penalty. If you heard that straight, the arrearages have increased $100,000. The total billings are $157,000, but $57,000 is going into his taxes. That's because this ordinance wasn't meant to be enforced this way. The ordinance was meant to be enforced. If the bill wasn't paid in 30 days, it would go to a shutoff. Of course, this is a 44-unit property, and the landlord, the owner, pays the water bill. So you couldn't turn off the water. That's understandable. But the application, the strict enforcement, which has happened here, is totally usurious. It's excessively punitive. It's confiscatory, and I think that's clearly a violation of substantive due process. If you look at what in my detailed statement, you'll see it's all laid out. The amount rolled to taxes is $57,000 with the penalty. The actual amount that he owes is $16,000. The amounts now that remain on the arrearage and are subject to this 10% compounding monthly, which have risen $100,000 in 9 months, that's up to $107,000. By next month, it'll be up to about $137,000 on billings of $25,000. That's excessive. It's usurious. It's unfair. You're the only ones who have the power to do anything about it. Mr. Tungate can take one penalty away. One 10% penalty would be a couple $1,000s. That's all he can do. I want to thank Courtney Krause for helping me, through this process. We're asking for relief. We're asking for you to take, and it's in my statement. If you guys would have a chance to look at it at some point, instead of you should really assess the 10% penalty to based on the actual billings and what's owing, and that would be a total of about $40,000 instead of a total of $157,000. So he stopped paying on the bill about in June of 2020. Of course, everybody in the city stopped paying on their rent also. And now we have programs, the CIRA program, the Mishna program, to help tenants. Thank God, and the landlords will start benefiting from that too. But in the meantime, he honestly threw up his hands improperly. Should have come to some attorney. I've just been doing a few evictions for this gentleman, and that's how I got into this. I'm a juvenile court lawyer. Okay, I'm not a corporate lawyer.
Forgive me, but where is the written document that you have?
I sent it into to Mr. Norris, and it went to Ms. Vecchio, and I believe she has them.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'll send a copy to Mr.
We will have someone get to you on this very specific issue. City Manager Tungate, perhaps you could call Mr. Stewart.
Well, but he doesn't have any power, Judge.
No. Okay. Oh, Mr. Stewart, would you put your phone number in the chat, please, for us?
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Is there, we'll handle Mr. Stewart's issue. Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Director Vecchio?
This is Director Davis. There is no one else listed to speak.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We have then call to the council and then a closed session. I would like to just extend condolences to the family of Yehuda Krenzer. He was one of the founders of Oak Park's Hatsala program. There's a police emergency. They're there for you. He died very unexpectedly last week, and we send condolences to the family and our deepest sympathy. Oh, one other. Warren Schulman is a longtime and delightful Oak Park resident. And he sent a thank you note to Oak Park Public Safety Department. And this is what he wrote. My name is Warren Schulman, and I live on Corning Street in Oak Park. I'm writing this note to the Oak Park Police Department and the 911 dispatcher. I am beyond thankful for their quick and professional response to my 911 call on April 29th, 2021. Around 10 p.m., I fell and could not get up. The moment I called 911, I knew I was in good hands. The dispatcher was thorough in assessing my situation and was quick to assure me that help was on the way. When the first officer arrived, I felt a sense of relief. The officer was so incredibly kind and very professional. After asking me several questions, the officer reassured me that I was going to be okay. He explained to me how they would get me up so I could prepare myself for any discomfort that might come. Shortly after his partner arrived, they conferred about the best option for my situation. They got me up with no discomfort and remained close by until I was able to walk unassisted. Again, thank you to everyone involved. I appreciate the immediate, professional, and compassionate response that I received that evening. And Mr. Schulman, if you are listening, thank you for taking the time to write this. It means so much to dispatch and public safety to hear back. We are blessed with a public safety department that our residents love. And thank you for your letter. Further, Mayor Pro Tem Burns, do you have a few words you would like to say before we go to closed session?
Well, thank you everyone and all the residents for participating and joining our Zoom meeting. Council members, please continue to be safe and continue to do the wonderful job that you guys are doing. City administration, you as well. And thank you again, Director Steve Cooper, for participating in the FAN project and City Manager. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mayor Pro Tem, we love your blue room.
Thank you.
Councilmember Edgar.
Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. One of our residents asked me to do a little update about the dog park. So I posted the link to our survey in the chat. And as Director Davis mentioned, it can be found on our website. We've had a pretty remarkable response, actually. As of the end of April, we had 94 responses, and I believe last week Director Stasiak said it was something around 140, 150, which is pretty good. It's a 13-question survey, and it requires a little bit of work on the part of the person taking the survey. It's posted on social media channels as well. I think Oak Park Neighbors, it's somewhere there. So quick update, we are really moving quickly on the dog park. I can't really talk about location because we still have some work to do, but we are already looking at fencing. We're already looking at configuration and lighting and even talking a little bit about amenities. So our hope is that by next year, we have a dog park in this community. It's going to be charming, and we hope that people will make good use of it, and they will be responsible, because that's what makes a dog park work. You need responsible dog owners. So anyway, that is my update, and good night.
Councilmember Edgar, we've wanted a dog park forever, and you made it happen. Thank you. Councilmember Radner. So we wait on him and go to Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just a couple quick things. There's a tree planting this weekend, I believe on May 22nd. We're going to be planting 15 trees in Oak Park at Lesninger Park. So that's in partnership with Detroit Zoological Society. So I'm going to try to make it out there and plant some trees because it's good for the environment. Secondly, I'm very excited.
What time is that?
Oh, sorry, 8:45 a.m. till noon. So 8:45 a.m. So if you're a morning person on a weekend, that's a good time to come out. So second thing is the linear park. I'm really liking everything that I'm seeing happen there. I saw that there was a bike and skater ramp that went up this week or the week before, and it really looks lovely. I plan on taking my electric scooter on it, so see how that works. So that'll be fun. So I'm just real excited about all the parks that are coming to Oak Park. And then last thing, Juneteenth, we're going to have our virtual presentation on June 19th. And there's going to be a midnight showing for the millennial young professional crowd because they like to stream at that type of time. And then there's also going to be 2 other showings, which will be at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. So there's going to be a lot of surprises, a lot of dance performances. And I think we're going to have a visit from Booker T. Washington. So.
Amazing. You created an event that never happened before. That's amazing, and we thank you for all your work. And we look forward to the visit from Mr. Washington. That will be interesting.
Thanks, Mayor. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Councilmember Radner, did we get you back? Let's see. Okay.
Madam Mayor, I keep coming in and out. Can you hear me?
Say it again.
It looks as though he's muted.
Oh, he's muted, right. Oh, Councilmember Radner is muted.
Yeah, unmute yourself. There he goes.
Coming in and out. I got like 1%. That might be why, but can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, the only thing...
No, I think we're losing.
Yeah, he said he's had
We're losing you. I think you don't have enough juice.
Yep, he just dropped off.
Right. So pursuant to Section 8 of the Open Meetings Act, we will go into closed session to discuss attorney-client privileged communication with regard to Coolidge Square. Go into closed session. I think we are in a breakout room.
We're in a breakout room.
But it's closing in seconds?
We created the breakout room for the closed session.
Second.
Thank you. Councilmember Whitehead. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Minutes are approved. Next, I would like a motion to proceed with the tax roll for Laurentian Village.
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem, thank you. In a second,
I'll second.
thank you. Councilmember Edgar. There is no discussion. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mayor, I'm sorry, Councilmember Whitehead,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
and Councilmember Radner is no longer with us tonight.
Okay. So, and 4 is sufficient. So this motion carries. I need a motion to tax roll for Coolidge Square.
So moved.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, and is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Councilmember Edgar. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Motion carried. This ends. We've had the call to the audience, call to council, closed session. It is now 9:03, and there being no further business to come before the council, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your time and attention.
Everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Stay safe.
Wow.